Join me, five-time Paralympian Greg Westlake, as we journey across Canada to bring you incredible stories of how sport can heal, inspire, and bring communities together. This is Level Playing Field. Hello and welcome. This week, we have another great episode featuring extraordinary people and organizations doing remarkable things. Later, we find out how a major donation by Toronto Raptors star Pascal Siakam is making a huge impact on the youth at Holland Bloorview Kids Rehabilitation Hospital. But first, we start with the beautiful game, and we meet the people working hard to grow five-a-side football here in Canada. Soccer, or football as it's widely known, may not be the first sport that comes to mind for Canadians. But it has quietly grown across the country, evolving into an adaptive sport for blind and partially sighted players. Five-a-side soccer has the players donning eye shades and using a ball with noisemakers like bells inside. These adaptations have allowed countless athletes to play the most popular sport in the world. Hilary Scanlon is one of those players.
First time I started playing soccer was when I was 4. Like a lot of Canadians, I grew up playing Timbit soccer. That was my introduction to, I guess, falling in love with soccer and football. I've always loved the social aspect and component of it, but I've also really enjoyed the competitive nature of it as well. It's one of the few sports that has a ball that I could see growing up.
But as she got older, her vision got worse. Eventually, she received her CNI ID card and started to seek out opportunities to continue to play the game she loved.
I think it was that week that I researched blind soccer to see if it was a thing, to see if it was available at all in Canada. And I found Matt Greenwood's name through, I think, like a pile of websites. And I was thrilled, so I contacted him. Nothing was really going on at the time, but I could tell he was really committed to get it going.
That connection with Matt Greenwood started Hilary down the path she finds herself on now as a top female player in the country. Matt remembers when Hilary first reached out.
She was a high school girl out of Peterborough that was playing competitive soccer, that knew she was losing her eyesight, that it was deteriorating, and wanted to know what to do next. And I told her that at that stage there wasn't anything, but she should still keep pushing her local club to make sure that they provide her with an opportunity to train and to play if possible. And we revisited each other probably about 2 or 3 years ago. She popped up, she was just graduating from university and looking to go and do a master's, and had seen that we'd started a program at Pickering. So her mum would bring her down every Saturday morning for training for an hour.
That Pickering club was part of a years-long journey Matt had been undertaking. His dream was to create a blind soccer program in Canada, and that team was a very early milestone.
But that development, that system development is really what I love, that opportunity to assess who's missing out on this game. And it's really one of those games that's so affordable and, for the most part, barrier-free. So it's really about making grassroots coaches or even leaders at the provincial and the national level know that we can do this, that it's an accessible sport. We just need a little bit more education and awareness, and we can start to attract players and coaches and team officials.
There was a mixture of emotions for Hilary as she reconnected with a sport she had always loved, whether it's on the pitch or in a gym.
It was so exciting just to get back on the pitch. The biggest challenge for me is, and it still is just keeping the ball, keeping track of the ball. And that's kind of how it feels playing soccer, like a little tap and you lose the ball forever, it feels like.
Hilary's mom remembers being uneasy when her daughter first started playing five-a-side.
Playing was very scary for me because I was always worried about things like getting injured, competing against people maybe she didn't know, and worrying about dynamics, just typical parent stuff. And she laid all those fears to rest.
There is some reason to be concerned about safety. While it is a non-contact sport, collisions can and do happen.
Oh! You hit me in my face.
It's one of the highest, if not the highest, risk of concussions in the Paralympic Games. So in Germany now, all of the players in their national league have to wear a compression headband as well as eye shades. And we've just invested in some of those for all of our players. So our players will be a lot safer, and moving forward we'll probably make it mandatory so that the players have that peace of mind when it comes to head injuries. But yeah, it's not for the faint of heart, that's for sure.
The growth of the sport comes from raising awareness and uncovering hidden talent and potential in new players. Players like Fatlam El-Shani, who discovered the sport during his time at W. Ross McDonald's School for the Blind in Brantford, Ontario.
I asked one of the teachers that was helping us, I said, how are we gonna do soccer? He said, there's blind soccer. I said, wait, what? He said, yeah, there is a blind soccer. And I said, how does that work? He said, just like, I will show you. And he passed me the ball, and I heard that, like, the ball has a bell in it, and I heard it. And I was so happy that I was able, like, to play again. Soccer was my dream. Soccer was my everything. And I was really happy. Like, there's no words that I can explain how I felt at that time.
He was like a cheeky punk kind of kid who had all the skill in the world, but he had a bit of frustration as well. He played competitively as a kid back home, and unfortunately lost his eyesight, and was now trying to work his way through being a talented soccer player. But how does that look and feel without sight? So he's still very dominant on the field. His dribbling skills are fantastic, and he has a fantastic rocket of a shot. Now we're working with him to sort of bring in the other players on the field, and I think at the moment he feels like he has to be the most dominant and kind of run the show, but we'll get to a point where he's got supporting players around him.
Hearing Matt's praise of Fatlam, I had to get a first-hand look at his skills on the pitch. I caught up with him at the Ontario Parasport Games, and I kept hearing an unfamiliar term during the game.
Boy.
So I asked him to explain. You're saying something when you're playing defense, so I'm coming up, I'm playing defense on you. What am I supposed to say?
You have to say voy.
Voy?
Yeah.
And what's that mean?
That's like to let them know where you are and you don't run into each other.
Okay, because the ball makes noise so you know where the ball is. So voy is kind of you being the ball, kind of saying, I'm here, I'm here.
For me, I don't use guides. I just in the beginning of the match, I just like asked my goalie where he is. I want to know where my net is, where the middle of the pitch is, and where the other net is. And then after that, it's all like always in my mind, like I have to know where I am, because I don't pay attention to guides or anything.
And what about if for the players that do use a guide? What kind of information are they looking for from the guide? What do they need to know?
The guide needs to let them know where they are. Let's say like I'm at like in the middle of the pitch. I want my coach to tell me, says you're in the middle of the pitch, or like go more to the right or more to the left.
Once I understood that, I couldn't pass on the opportunity to face a penalty shot from Fatlam. If I go in the net right now and say center, center, could you blast one by me?
I'll try.
Okay. So I took my position in goal, and he lined up his shot. Okay, middle, 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 middle. Right here, right in the middle, right here. That is terrifying. So you just went high there? If you were like just a few inches lower, you would have pegged me right in the head. But what's cool?
That's why I didn't want that.
No, but that's amazing, because all I was saying is middle, and you put it right over my head. So that's all the information you need.
Yeah.
Leading the development of Canada's best blind soccer players is huge for Matt. But while this game is growing, the pace of that growth can be frustrating.
Almost done. So very quickly, for 3 or 4 minutes, we're going to practice some penalty kicks. So it's a fresh-eyed lad landing here in 2006 from the UK, coming from what I saw in the development there. It just seemed like a no-brainer, and I just figured it would take 3 or 4 years and we would be up to speed, and that just hasn't happened. Definitely frustrating, but I guess it's sort of a reality check that you just can't wait around for somebody else to do this for you. You need to put a stake in the ground and get started yourself.
Frustrations aside, he has 2 strong leaders in Hillary and Fatlam to help guide his national teams. The goal is reaching the LA Paralympic Games in 2028, where he hopes the men and women's side will be represented. There hasn't been a women's competition yet, but Matt has already named Hillary team captain as the push for inclusion continues.
This is never something that I imagine happening in a million years. I've never let myself imagine or dream of playing for Team Canada in any capacity. So for this to happen for my favorite sport, the one that I love the most, is just unfathomable.
I mean, she just oozes leadership when she's around the field, on it or off it, and the players gravitate towards that and hearing from another player, not from the coach, telling them what to do and providing that guidance, which is fantastic, because there's only so much you can do from the side as the coach to communicate. You need you need leadership on the field to be able to take them forward.
Nancy, where are you?
The establishment of the men's national team is something Fatlam has been
Why?
eagerly waiting for.
Boy.
He never stops, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't stop until we had the national team, you know what I mean? Like, I was asking him almost every week, any news, Matt, any news, Matt? No, I'm still working on it, you know? So, like, now that we have a national team, he's very excited for us.
Eli?
The foundation Matt has laid in Canada has allowed this beautiful game to grow.
Gavin, Yomi, come over here. Come to me, quick.
As he continues to work hard and establish the program, he sees a bright future ahead.
Be able to see a national team in LA in 2028 would be phenomenal. Just the thought of being able to have a team at an event like that would be incredible. And knowing now that we've started that groundwork, we've got players like Hillary and Fatlam in the system, we're developing, we're attracting new players every month, every week, would be huge. Immense sense of pride to be able to see a team out there representing Canada, knowing how hard they've worked, not so much me, knowing how hard they've worked to get to that point, because I know they're desperate for that opportunity, and I'm going to try and do everything I can to empower them to get there.
The pace of progress has been slow, but it's great to know that Canada finally has a women's and men's five-a-side football team. The next big goal is to qualify for the Paralympics and to be a part of the push to add a women's tournament to the Games. After the break, we hit the pitch to learn the mechanics of five-a-side in our latest edition of Sport Explained. Then, we see how a big league donation from one Toronto Raptor is having a profound effect on his community. Level Playing Field will be right back. Now back to Level Playing Field.
Sport Explained. Football five-a-side. Football five-a-side is an adaptation of football or soccer, played by athletes who are blind and partially sighted. The object of the game is to score more goals than your opponent. The game is played on a 40-meter long and 20-meter wide rectangular field, known as a pitch. The length of the pitch is surrounded by walls called kickboards to prevent the ball from going out of play. There are 2 goals at either end of the field. Each net is 3.65 meters wide and 2.1 meters high, 12 feet by 7 feet. Teams consist of 4 outfield players and 1 goalkeeper. The game is played primarily by kicking, but players can direct the ball using any body part other than their hands. Only goalkeepers are permitted to use their hands. All outfield players must wear eye shades to ensure athletes with more vision do not have an advantage. Athletes who are partially or fully sighted compete as goalkeepers and do not wear an eye shade. Teams also utilize off-field coaches to guide and assist them during gameplay. The ball is one of the biggest adaptations to the sport. Sound devices, like bells, are located inside the ball and generate loud acoustic signals to help players orientate themselves. The ball is between 60 centimeters and 62 centimeters in circumference and weighs just over half a kilo. This makes it both smaller and heavier than a traditional ball. Players are required to say "voy" when going for the ball. This alerts the other players about their position. To help athletes hear the ball, each other, and coaches' instructions, spectators must remain silent during the game, but can react to goals. Games are divided into 2 20-minute halves. Now you're ready to hit the pitch.
Level Playing Field will be right back. Now back to Level Playing Field. We often hear about large donations by professional athletes, but rarely get to witness the impacts these commitments make on the community. In September 2021, Toronto Raptor Pascal Siakam donated $100,000 to Holland Bloorview Kids Rehabilitation Hospital from his PS43 Foundation Canada. We traveled to the hospital to witness Pascal's generosity firsthand. Located in Toronto, Ontario, Holland Bloorview Kids Rehabilitation Hospital is a key community hub for children living with disabilities. Pascal discovered firsthand how special this place was and wanted to lend his support, including appearing at their Capes for Kids event at a recent Raptors 905 basketball game.
As a grown-up, I don't even go through half of the things that they go through every single day, and just to see how strong they are, the smiles that they have when you see them and you meet them, I just want to be able to do everything, and when that opportunity came to me, I always made sure that I do everything above and beyond, and making sure that I lend my support, because I know that it will go a long way, and I'm able to use my platform, and so yeah, it's always been a no-brainer.
Sandra Hawken, president and CEO of the hospital's foundation, believes it was the power of sport, coupled with his commitment to children, that motivated Pascal to become a partner and help finance initiatives like their music therapy program.
Hey, hey, what do you say? I'm in the mood for that. And deep breath.
Holland Bloorview is a very special place. And lots of people will describe us as the very best hospital that no one has heard of. And that's probably because we work with a group of kids that aren't on everybody's radar. And Pascal knew that by using his platform and his fame to be able to bring attention for kids with disabilities, the fit was so perfect.
While it might have seemed like an obvious fit for Pascal to fund the sport rehabilitation initiatives that are a key part of Holland Bloorview's programming, Sandra told us it was important to Pascal to provide education and support to the hospital's clients from marginalized groups in racialized communities.
Pascal's support has helped Holland Bloorview in so many significant ways. Fund really innovative programming, including work that has impacted some of the most vulnerable and racialized families in our building through a social needs screening tool as part of our inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility work.
That screening tool helped connect families with programs and allowed for more focused support. Clinical lead Jessica Reed says it has allowed the hospital to reach more people.
Once families complete the screening tool and they identify as having a specific need, then it's a conversation around whether they would like to be referred to get some support one-on-one in the Family Navigation Hub. Pascal and his foundation support has been really instrumental in helping us develop and really increase the access to our program to families.
In Yvonne Willis' case, support came in the form of food programs offered through the hospital, something that she was connected with because of the screening tool.
I wanted to learn how to cook certain meals for Malina because she has a wheat intolerance. Rice, beans, cheese, milk. So it's very hard to find food for her.
She recounts her first experience with the program, which started during the pandemic.
I received a box of food delivered to my door. It felt like a gift from heaven. And the angels were Jessica, Pascal, Siakam, and Stephanie.
Pascal knows that the impact of his gift goes beyond the mere dollars and cents.
And sometimes, a little bit is a lot, and we don't even realize it, so everything that we can just to help, any little help there is very important. It means a lot to those kids.
Holland Bloorview wants to find programs that align with donors' interests. So along with developing the screening tool, the hospital's music therapy program jumped out to Pascal.
Different programs that the hospitals, put together, and music therapy and things that's gonna help those kids continue to learn. Because at the end of the day, no matter what you're going through, no matter your race and the disabilities that you have, having access to education is crucial, and that's something that the PS4E5 Foundation really cares about.
Give me a thumbs up if you're doing okay, or maybe middle, or maybe not so great. Thumbs up, nice. Anybody else?
Andrea Lamont says that the program has made a huge difference for the participants.
We've had lots of really beautiful responses from parents and teachers, actually, who really enjoy the program and can see the impact on the children.
Here you on the drum.
That moment when the child is able to connect their movement to the sound, that's so lovely. I love those little blossomings or sparks within the kids. Yeah.
Big smiles.
And what were you looking at?
Which camera?
I know, I'm like...
Which camera?
Yeah?
Oh, okay.
We are so excited to have a long-term relationship with Pascal, and we know we're just getting started. He is a regular fixture here in terms of the most beloved visitor, a supporter that has also inspired so much generosity and attended events, and we know that there's going to be many, many more in the years to come.
Truer words were never spoken, as Pascal proceeded to announce at the Capes for Kids event that he would make another donation to Holland Bloorview. He committed to personally matching contributions made to his Capes for Kids fundraising team, up to $100,000. Not only did Pascal show up with another donation at the Raptors 905 game, he signed autographs, he posed for pictures, and once again demonstrated his commitment to his adopted home. That's our time for this installment of Level Playing Field. Thanks for watching. See you again. Host, producer, Greg Westlake. Senior producer, director, Ted Cooper. Director of photography, senior editor, Matthew McGurk. Integrated described video consultant, M. Williams. Supervising producer, Michelle Dudas. Produced by Evergreen Productions. Copyright 2023.
An AMI original production.